My brother-in-law contacted me a couple weeks ago and said that he bought an N64 online from these buy-sell trade things, and he got in the mail and it didn't look great. And I said, you know what, bring it over. I'm not an expert, but I've done a few things here and there, basic, very basic things, and we might be able to get it fired up and working for you. So we brought it over, and you'll notice I'm wearing gloves, and that's for a good reason. This thing is disgusting. I've already tried to wipe down a little bit of the top, but this thing looks like it sat in a infested something or other for a while, so I'll be wearing gloves the entire time. Here's the N64 itself. Now, it's got all kinds of junk in the cooling vents there. You can hear stuff shaking around there. That's really not good. But the reality is, I actually haven't... Oh god, there's rust inside. There's rust. So I haven't actually taken this thing apart, and I don't think anyone has. We're not sure if it'll even come apart. But here's the thing with repair. Always start with the easy stuff first. Now, first off, here's a disclaimer. I'm not an expert in repair. I only do things I know that I'm doing or that I can't really mess up or make any worse. If you want to see expert repairs, head on over to people like Video Game Restoration, RetroVic, and Crossface Gaming if you want to see quality repairs and how things are actually done properly. Don't pull anything apart that you're not comfortable with. Do anything at your own risk. I take no responsibility for damage you cause to yourself, your systems. So the first thing I'm going to do is the simplest thing. See if it turns on. Now over here, pay attention to the TV up there, the pretty Tinkerbell TV. I got my power supply for mine, I know that works. I got my AV cable for mine, I know that works. And I have this magical red cartridge somewhere. How do I lose these things? How? It's right here. Magical red cartridge. And we're gonna see if it fires. Oh god, no power at all. Okay. So there's not power whatsoever. Oh god, this thing's just so gross. So grody. I don't know why people don't take care of stuff, man. It's bothersome. Okay, that didn't work. My next thought process was to actually see if I can get power by removing whatever was put in here. I was assuming that it was an expansion pack, the 4 megabyte expansion pack, because it had this on front. I'm assuming they used a Mad Catz aftermarket thing. Nope, it's the original jumper pack, so that's not good already. We have no power, that's not great. The good news is that the pins that do power tend to look pretty decent. What I'm going to do is hit all that with a contact cleaner. I picked this one up, not sure what it is exactly, but I'm just going to get in there and start that process right there. And while that's soaking in, oh god, it's dirt. It's dirt. And you know what? I'm going to do this. There's another controller in here. Oh god, look at this controller. Oh, you gotta see this. Oh god. Probably be wearing a mask, honestly. Of course, the tape they use, that'll hold up forever. All these tools and nothing to cut with. It's really got to give it to me. I'm really, really good at this game. Oh, hey, there we go. Something to... Oh, it's tweezers. You know what? This is the most... If you want to see quality repairs, don't watch my channel. Okay. Oh, look at that. You got mold and God knows what on this controller. That is... Look at this. Just look at all this. This has got to be pulled completely apart and washed. So my thought process is let's at least get into this and see what we can see inside, because it might be so rusted that this video is not going to go very far, and that's okay. If anything, we'll have a cleaning video on how to clean controllers. Got my Nintendo Game Bit here, not a very complicated piece of equipment. A simple eBay or Amazon purchase for pulling these Nintendo systems apart. It is unique. I'm going to probably screws here. They're not hard to take apart. Oh, I might be saying oh god a lot this time, because this is something else, man. I don't think... I'm not sure if he knew how bad a shape this was in. And a lot of these buy-sell trade places, they don't care. Oh, that might be... Yeah, this is gross. I don't think I can get that out. I think that is so rusted. Wow, this is not going anywhere quick. And I didn't know what I would get on that to pull that screw. Drill the head off it, I guess. Whew. Man, this is... Look at the rust. I think this is a goner already. There's the expansion port down there. I would assume this thing flooded or got flooded. This is beyond repair. Yeah, this is probably going for the trash. I mean, you can tell without you going into it too deep that this is completely rusted. And this is going to be a heck of a failed video, unfortunately, because that is just not going to work. Well, here's the problem so far. I can't get the last screw out to pry the system open. Even if I could, I don't think it would come apart. Oh, there's two back here. I don't know if it would come apart to even look inside. You know, it's one of those things where it's going to be a parts-only kind of deal. Yeah, I don't know if I can get this thing open at all, because that is so rusted. And it's going to be hard to show on camera, if at all. I'm going to try to see what's inside. Oh, God, rust. Yep. I think I gotta pull the jumper pack first. People are probably screaming at the TV who are watching this right now. You gotta pull the jumper pack. You gotta pull the jumper pack. I'm pretty sure I have to pull that jumper pack out. And I'm really worried about damage, so whatever can get this thing out, we'll get it out with. Oh, you hear the crunch? Yeah. Oh, it's all rust. It's all rust. Wow, that is all rust in there. Jeez, oh man. I'm determined to get this open, at least for the video's sake. Someone has to look and bear witness with me to see how gross this is. The only way I'm going to really get this out is if I pause it and I go get something I can drill this out with. I mean, you really can't do any harm to this thing. So I'm already convinced that this thing will not work no matter what I do. I think it's a basket case. I think it was soaked in water for a long time. But I do want to try to drill this out so I can at least look inside of it and show you how bad it is. Okay, let's, wow. Yeah, this is one of those things that it is beyond gone. I mean, how do you let something like this happen? I have a real problem with people who are given electronics. They don't take care of them. Now, accidents happen, things get flooded, things get ruined, but this is ridiculous. And how someone would sell this and have that bothers me a lot. You know, the funny thing is I don't think this is even parts only. I think this is going right to the garbage. This is horrible. I mean, I can't even get the screws off the heatsink or the covers. This is disgusting in so many different ways that I don't know where to even start. And this video is now going to go from a video about trying to get this N64 working to a video telling you to take care of your stuff. You know, take care of your stuff. I never understood kids when I was younger, at least when I was a kid myself, who would get all these, toys, electronics from their parents. I would let them gather dust or sit and go corroded. They didn't care what happened to them. They'd hit them, beat them, all that good stuff. So that is really upsetting to open something up like this and know that so many kids wanted one of these when they were younger and they never got it because they couldn't afford it, whatever the case might be. And it's just, it's beyond salvageable. I mean, if I pull this off and I get under the heatsink, it's just going to be more rust. It's goner. That's beyond a goner. That's depressing. Now, don't get me wrong; these are mass-produced, but it's still, it's still upsetting to see that kind of thing happen, and just the absolute mess. It smells too, by the way. You can't smell on a camera, but it definitely smells. So after I finish this video, I'm gonna put this together here, take a picture or two, and show my brother-in-law and say I'm just gonna toss this because I don't think he needs it back in his house. So unfortunately, this video is now taking the turn from let's see if I can make it work to let's get this in a hazmat bag and get out of my house as soon as possible because oh my gosh, that is terrible. That is atrocious. But let's see if we can salvage anything. Nope. You can look at this stuff already. Here's the power supply for it. You can see there's rust in the screws. When you see external rust like that, it's really never a good sign. So chances are this is shot too, so I'm not going to bother even trying with that. What else is in here? Yeah, the controller. These two controllers. Now, if there's a lot of rust in the back, oh my god. This might be salvageable. This might work. There's definitely not as much rust. There's no rust in the screws in the back. So this one gives me some hope that we can fix this one and put it back into service. This one here is going to be real iffy. In fact, I would assume this is the same one that was either submerged in animal stuff. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, actually, no, the cord's frayed here. Well, let's give it a fair shot here. Let me just see if they even work before I go any further. If they get some response out of them, then I'm willing to keep going and pull them apart and clean them. That N64 is not going to happen at all. So let's, wow, that is gross. The thing is, I had to work for my N64. When I was a kid, I was doing odd jobs, whatever I could do to save enough money to get the N64 to play The Legend of Zelda like all my friends were. I really wanted one bad, and this is it still. This is one I had. It just bothers me when people are so abusive to their equipment like that. It's really troublesome to me. What do we do wrong? Is this causing a short? Nothing. Brand new EverDrive. This is why I hate cart systems. So that's there. Okay, well, that doesn't work. Well, the joystick works, and so does the D-pad. So I think we'll try to go forward. The face buttons aren't working. What I want to try to do is pull these apart and salvage at least one controller out of hopefully both of them. So the first thing I'm going to do, though, is hit them with a whole bunch of these cleaners because I don't want to touch these. And actually, what first we're going to do is get some paper towels. We're going to clean this area up right here so all this grossness from the system's gone. And we're going to put this over here. Okay, hey, could you grab some paper towels and cleaning supplies? Just want to show you how disgusting these are. I cleaned up the black controller here, and for the most part, it looks pretty decent, although I'll have to probably clean it some more. There's enough there for me to take it apart and see if I can make it work, so we'll do that in a second. But look at this gray one here, which I want to give up on before I even start. Look at the absolute grime and just disgusting amount of damage and tear on it, and I get it, people put stuff away, they forget about it, but this was in an ugly place, and it smells like cat. It smells like cat really bad. Which is making me not want to really do this in my basement because that smell is very difficult to get out. We've had to bleach things already down here from this area, and that's not good because this is a place where a lot of people like to be, and we've had to use these really heavy alcohol wipes. One little pass does all that. I mean, this is some of the grossest I've ever seen. It just stinks. It stinks so bad. I mean, we're getting the color back, and I really don't want to forfeit Nintendo controller parts. So if I can gut this thing even and keep the parts out of it, that's one thing, but oh god. I'm smelling the cat stuff through bleach and rubbing alcohol. That's how bad it is. So I don't even know if I want to continue doing this, but This is so bad. This is so bad. You know, I've seen people who do this like restoration stuff for a living, and I don't have the wherewithal, the tools, or the expertise to do that. I was just gonna pull it apart and figured, okay, you know, a lot of N64s, that jumper pack goes bad, something simple, but this thing had been, it seems like it had been submerged for a while. So there is the best I can do right now without fully pulling this controller apart and soaking it in soap for a few days. This is the best I can do at the moment, and I think you'll agree it's an improvement, but a lot of this is like permanent, like the staining in a lot of places is simply not coming out. So this is the next step. We're going to see if we can actually pull the controller apart with the screws that I can see, and we'll go from there. We put all the screws out of this. I've never taken apart an N64 controller. This, again, this could be salvageable for parts or something like that, especially if the analog assembly is in good shape. And actually, that's in pretty good shape. And original analog assemblies are always best. This has got to be pulled apart piece by piece. Oh my gosh, it's just so not as gross as I thought it would be. I really thought I was going to get into something absolutely disgusting here and kind of vomit a little bit, but thank God it didn't happen that way. So we'll just go ahead and take this out here. Only good news about this controller so far is all this stuff internally is actually in really great shape, despite the outside being absolutely disgusting and possibly not working. The inside of the board is great. It's pretty clean. I don't think you have to even clean the contacts. I'm gonna go wash all these keys down here after I pull this one apart too. And hopefully we'll get at least one working controller. If not, we'll get some parts out of this. My only concern is trying to get the stuff that's in here out. And I have some tweezers, some dental picks that might help. And I don't think the controller pack would work. I think the controller pack is probably needs to be completely replaced, and that is, again, beyond my expertise. But the controller itself might actually work. So we'll put all the hardware that I need over here, and a lot of it needs to be cleaned too. The screw heads seem to have some kind of mold on them or something. Like this is disgusting. I get so upset when I see this kind of stuff, and this is why. So put this over here, and we'll take this one apart, and we'll keep going. The only bad thing about these controllers is that absolutely atrocious cat smell, like the worst, one of the worst smells I've ever had. And then there's stuff in here, but this one's in way better shape, so this might be salvageable. I'm going to clean down the cords a little bit, take all the keys out, and then we'll go wash them. We're in the place where the magic happens. I'm going to use this wash sink here and some of this degreaser, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to spray all this stuff down, let the water run on it, and then I'm just going to scrub it. I have some scrubbing stuff here, and hopefully we'll get one working controller out of this. Again, this is the most disgusting I've ever seen anything, and that's saying a lot. So the goal here is to wash this stuff within this wash bin and not lose any of those small little pieces. Can I do it? We'll find out. All right, so we're washing things up here. The buttons came out great. They're all in really good shape, so I'm hoping to at least salvage these. Even if the boards and the cords are all shot, this stuff here will be helpful for someone rebuilding controllers. They're authentic OEM parts. This here is looking a lot better. I've scrubbed away at it, put a degreaser on it. It looks better. Oh, thank God, it smells better. And I think we'll actually be in good shape to have this as a backup, or at least someone on the internet that I know personally can use this as a backup. So I'm going to finish this up and we'll go right back to it. So my quick afternoon project of just go ahead and clean this N64 up, get it going, then clean all this other stuff up and put it into service, turn it into an absolute nightmare, and hopefully you can see that throughout the course of this video. I'm very upset with people not taking care of their electronics, especially these retro things, and it makes me really upset, but that's okay. We're going to try to make the most of the situation. As you can see, what we've done here, we've taken apart these two controllers completely. Now, there are two different board revisions, I can tell you that right now, and they may or may not work. They sort of were working, and I figured a good cleaning couldn't hurt them. So what I'm going to do now is reassemble them to their respective controllers, and we'll go from there. Push comes to shove, and this is where I expect this to actually end up at, is that these controllers can be parted out for their shells, their buttons, the rubber, which is in great shape, actually. These are in wonderful conditions. A little tear on this one, not big deal. And, oh, that's not, that's factory. Okay, not even a tear. And the buttons. So all that stuff's original, and these analog sticks will work, and the shells will be okay. I don't know if the boards are salvageable. I say that because this, whatever I want to call it, this chip here, the legs on it are kind of messed up. It might just need to be reflowed. Can't do that. Don't have the experience of the machinery. And a couple of these capacitors over here, these real small ones, look rusted out. So are they going to work? Probably not. Did we waste a lot of time? No, because these will go to one of my internet friends, and hopefully they can put these parts into some kind of service. So let's get these assembled and just try and see what happens. I'm not sure what I'm doing because I've never taken apart an N64 controller before until today, but it can't be that difficult, right? Probably should do the front of the controller first. So first off, we'll drop in everything. And the nice thing about controllers is they are keyed for the most part. I never really seen one that wasn't. So you really can't mess it up. Everything has these little legs on it, and those little legs will correspond perfectly to where they go on the controller. I'm assuming that's going to make assembly easier at a factory. So, yep, that's correct. So, just going to keep dropping all these little pieces, parts in here, slowly but surely. Put our A button over here, and then we'll put all of our C buttons. I'm sure the C buttons are not as keyed. Maybe they are, who knows? Oh yeah, they're definitely keyed. All right, so I need to find that one there. No, the C buttons are going to be the hardest part. Didn't think that was going to be the hard part, but here we are. Now this is getting boring, and this could be a lot of video to edit. So we're going to pause right here, and we'll come back to you when all these are zipped up. Okay, I think we're back together in pretty good shape here. It was not the easiest thing, but hey, we're going to zip some screws into it, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be upset. This is a heck of a lot different from when the video started. Now, I still don't have a lot of faith it'll work. Let's test it out right now. Everything hooked up still. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's okay. At this point, I'm not expecting any kind of Christmas miracle to happen, but it'll be nice if at least something does happen. Now, let's fire the N64 up here with our EverDrive. We're going to change our Tinkerbell TV input to AV1. This is kind of the moment of truth. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay, well, you know what? It's certainly not working. That's not surprising. There's a bunch of rust. The cord's kind of chewed up, so that's not really a big surprise here. But I will have a use for it. Someone that I know out in Retroland will be able to use this controller, especially now it's been all cleaned up and it's in really nice shape, actually. So I will unplug this one and send this along to one of my friends. Let's get that black one assembled and see if that one works. I got this reassembled the best I can here. It looks better. Again, this is going to be a good parts controller, if anything. So I'm going to quickly turn that off. Plug this in, turn that back on, and see where we're at. As I suspected, I think that IC is messed up. Something's wrong. So none of the face buttons will work, and I cleaned it. I put a lot of isopropyl alcohol on it, trust me. Shoulder buttons work or something? No? That's it. I guess that's all she wrote. So the controller itself, so the Z button works, the D-pad works, the analog stick works, but nothing else does. That's not surprising at all, like whatsoever. So I really can't use a controller for controller purposes, but the buttons are good, the shell's good, the rubber inside is really good shape. So this will go to friends online, and like I said earlier, they'll take it apart probably or use it for parts, whatever they choose to do. But either way, there's a couple controllers here that have parts worth saving. This isn't a complete loss. I think it's important to show, especially online, how repairs and things like that can seem so easy and glamorous at first to a lot of people. Buy something for $20 on eBay, spend 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it's working in $100, $200, $300. But the reality is, especially for me, it just doesn't happen that often. And a lot of people, I think, will probably get into this as a hobby and they'll be kind of lost when they can't make the magic happen like they see online. So repair videos don't always go according to plan. And a lot of the people I've worked with over the years in the repair land on TikTok and YouTube are very aware of that. And a lot of their videos end with them just going, well, that's it, or I'm going to come back to this later. That's not really my thing. I really don't have a lot of time to do that necessarily. I'm focused on other things right now. But I just wanted to show everyone out there in YouTube land what happens when repairs go wrong. Nothing about this repair worked well. The only good thing that came out of it was that we have some parts controllers here that are in pretty good shape. And hopefully we'll spell a lot less like Cat in the future. Anyway, thanks for coming along this ride with me. I know it's been a long one. It's been maybe an interesting one. But remember, things can go wrong, and that's okay. I'll see you in the next one.